Hello, Strategic You family. Welcome back. We're here today with Michelle Mcvittie, who's going to be speaking today with us about parenting resolutions. Michelle, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be part of Strategic You, supporting our families in here. Children do not come with a manual, and when you have a neurodiverse child, it's a different level of parenting. So I'm here to support you, to give you small practical tips because there's a lot of information out there. And what I love about this platform is that we're coming together, you're not alone, and there's many different people here that can support you. I've worked in pediatric medical and mental health for over 2 decades. So I am pulling this from what works when I work with families. And when this topic was kind of brought up, I really love this idea of thinking about resolutions, but that work for your family and for parenting children with ADHD or neurodiversity, because you may not be dealing just with one diagnosis. There could be multiple diagnoses going on. So really stepping back and saying, what does that look like? And I think the trend this year has not been to think about me, new year, new me, right? Instead, it's focusing on what is going well. And that is the good thing about building. So we're thinking about scaffolding, right? We're thinking about building off of what is going well. And when you feel like you're barely keeping your head above water, when you have a child or multiple children or teens that need more from you, sometimes it's really tough to be able to see through that muddy water or the snow globe of stress, as I explain it. We look at the things that are not going well. And what I want you to do is give yourself some grace. Let's start with that for the new year to say, I am doing the best that I can. Look at how far I have come and look at what is going well. So, what is going well? And even if it is just a small degree of change, try not to be so hard on your family and on yourself that this is what you want to see on a consistent basis. So, what is going well? Maybe you have a routine that is doing well. Maybe you and your partner work well together. Maybe you are doing your child routine is doing well at school or with friendships, or, finally, there's, maybe a resource or a club or a sports team that they've made that connection and you're like, yes, this is good. So focus on that. That would be my number one thing. And I know it's hard when you're in the muddy waters. So let me just take a look at my notes here. Okay, so the next piece is looking at identifying barriers and unsolved problems. So what does that mean? That means for a child that really struggles with task initiation, for example. Well, in the mornings, because they struggle with task initiation, they're just not going to go well because I don't know what to do. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me what to do. A parent is feeling like they're micromanaging and always needing to give that next step. So what I want you to look at is, what are the barriers? Depending on the age of the child, maybe they can't read. So we need a checklist. So if we've got a child that can't read, then we're going to do pictures. If we've got a child that can read, but they can't break a step down. So maybe we have too many things going on. Maybe there is too many cooks in the kitchen and they don't have a timer. And the checklist that we have is great, but it's too simple for them. They actually need it broken down. So certain steps might have to be broken down a little bit more. So we may look at it and say, look, this kid's 12 and the 6-year-old can do it. But take a look at what's going well and what's not going well. And then the other barrier would be, and it could be an unsolved problem that right now we haven't really focused on this. We're just seeing it as, I don't want to get out of the door. But what is happening when I get to school? Do I have those friends? Is there a sensory overload because there's yelling and screaming as soon as I get there? Or I've got math first class and I'm not interested. So how do we get them to take one step forward? And where are we starting? And of course, you have to start at home because that's what you have control over. But then looking at Where can the school support? How can we get them into the classroom? Do we start 10 minutes later and then eventually build that up while we're working on regulation skills? So, as you can see, there's never a black and white answer, but look at what is getting in the way and how can we build a team around that? How can we build your checklist and tools and resources to support that? Okay. So the other piece I do want to focus on too is you, because you are here as the parent and caregiver. And when you are not doing well, then your children will struggle as well. And this isn't a judgment on you. We have been brought up, many of us, that, you know, we just had to kind of fend for ourselves. Maybe our parents were emotionally immature and weren't able to support us. Maybe you had a great family structure and there was good things happening, and now that you are parenting, you're kind of feeling like, where did I fall off or what is going on? And that can really affect your mental health and your well-being. And your child is going to look at you. And if you're struggling, that's distressing to them. So you can start with yourself as a first step, which may not feel good because you might think like, I just want some strategies, like send me those checklists. How do I learn more? And of course, I want to be able to do that for you. And of course, that's a great idea to want to get organized and to have the tools. But going back to number two, what are the barriers? The barrier would be that I feel overwhelmed, that I'm the default parent, that I'm feeling kind of defeated. So my head pops off, I get frustrated, or this behavior is kind of driving me crazy. So I'm just like, forget it. Don't worry about it. Don't go to school. Have the ice cream before bed. I'm not in the mood right now to deal with this. So this is where your stress and your mental health is really important and should be number one, because it's really tough to support a child that is struggling to follow through and be consistent when you feel like the sky is falling and I'm really struggling. I'm barely keeping my head above water. And one of the barriers, again, going back to that, is adult support is really difficult to get. So knowing who is your support system, is it your partner? Is it a friend? Is it going to your family doctor to say, where are their resources? Is there funding for these resources? Is this something that I have insurance for that I can use towards, but I actually don't even know where to get started? So I hope that makes sense and doesn't feel like a judgment. It's saying you matter as well. And when you're feeling better, then your child can be calmer and you're more likely to follow through, be consistent, and plan ahead. So you're feeling like you're surviving and not just thriving. Okay, so the next one would be um, shifting your shift your focus from control to response. And again, this could be one of those stress responses for you that you've saying like, I need my child to do it this way, or I need my partner to do it that way. And I'm giving you permission to take your foot off the gas and not necessarily lowering your expectations, but altering your expectations. So when you are saying to yourself, I cannot change my child, I cannot change the behavior of the people around me, but I can change how I respond. As you can see, that goes back to your mental health and your stress levels. Know what your triggers are. This is where you can plan ahead and tag team with your partner. Maybe you're calling grandma on the phone to say, okay, this child is not listening to me right now. I need you to talk to them because they're going to listen to you. Maybe you can help them to take those deep breaths because my head's about to pop off and the child's not listening to me. So really making sure that you have that network around you. And if you're solo parenting and you do not have a partner in the house, or you don't have a lot of family, who is your network? Are you reaching out to friends, the school? Are there supports around you? And looking at it from, again, how can I build up this support network for myself? And then I'm going to respond versus react. And I can control that. I cannot control how my child responds, but if they do melt down, I can look at this to say, what is going on here? And shifting your mindset to say, they're not giving me a hard time, they're having a hard time, which I know in the moment can feel really tough, but take those opportunities to step back and reevaluate some of these things. And the next piece to help move this along is those structures and the routines. You really want to reduce the nagging, which goes back to task initiation. A child with ADHD is up to 3 years behind in executive functioning, for example, and they're going to need more support. So they need those checklists, they need those timers, and they need a plan and consistency from you. So you may want to, again, sit down as a family and say, what is going well? What would you like some help with? And how can I support you? And that, to me, is where you are going to start to feel like I do not have to do everything in the home, because what I want for you is to feel as though you are building up resiliency in your child and not needing to do everything. I recently saw something online about a parent that their job as a parent is to build resiliency and life skills. So a child or teen that you feel like you can't live without, what you're doing is you're helping this child and teen to actually live without you. And I know the reality for some of you may feel as though maybe that's not a reality, that my children will maybe need more help and for longer with me. So just to shift a little bit of your perspective to say, what can I do? How can I support my child? And it may take them a little bit longer, but I'm going to break this down into manageable steps and help them to feel better about themselves and build their independence. And I'm going to just finish off with saying we want to really strengthen that connection with your child. If there actually is a resolution that really matters, is that parent-child connection is so, so important. When you're feeling stressed, when your children are not feeling heard, when they're struggling in life, maybe social skills or schools or all those things are really they're struggling with, it's really hard for them to do well. But when you have somebody in your corner, when you have a parent that says, hey, I see you, I see you're struggling, and I'm here to support you, that means so much more than any therapy or anything out there, because they want to do well. Even though sometimes you think this child is really struggling, they're not hearing me, they're not listening. Why do I bother? I do not feel effective. That emotion is valid in you. However, your child is not there maturity wise, and they need you. So if you are struggling, that's where you need a plan, you need a team, you need your own support network so you can build and strengthen that connection with your child that will eventually lead to better communication and cooperation. So the new year is not about more pressure. The new year is to say, you've got this, look at what is going well, and take it one step at a time, small little steps, and notice how far you've come. I hope that was helpful.
I loved that. I mean, personally, there's a few points that you touched on that I just want to kind of reiterate.
Of course.
One is, focus on yourself too, because it is so hard as a parent with a kid with ADHD to do so. And it's not that we want to micromanage, we just want them to succeed
Mhm.
so that they can go and live a successful life, and the other part is that you talked about resilience and what you read online. And that's, well, we know is a strategic, you ADHD strength is
Mhm.
one of them. It's resiliency. Uh,
Yes.
so just knowing that you can build upon that resiliency within them. My son personally, actually, that's his ADHD strength is resiliency. And
Yes.
building upon that with him, although there is a negative side to resiliency, which is they will often give you a lot more pushback when they have that strength.
Mhm.
But it's okay. We get to work with them on that and help them to understand what benefits them in the best ways. But I love how you pointed out in the end, they just want us to see we're here for them.
Yes.
Like you may be struggling, you may be having a hard time right now. You want to succeed. We can see that,
Mhm.
and build upon that with them. So, so good to have you, Michelle. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Mm.